listening to this lecture. Since this has been met as a school for young scholars, I'm going to outline, my purpose will be to tell you, to the extent I can do this, the current situation with semiotics as a discipline, since I realized that among the audience there are not that many semioticians. And just yesterday I realized something absolutely amazing. I met 3 wonderful people from Estonia, scholars from Tartu, Estonia, who are not semioticians. This amazed me so much, and I told them a real story. I was in Tartu. I went many times in Tartu, almost as on a worshipping allotment there in Tartu. And I got lost, which is also amazing because the city is very small. But I got lost, and there was a man just on the street, a regular person, and I asked him how to go to the semiotic department. And he knew, he told me. Yes, he knew how to show me the way to go to TE Street. They were not semioticians. So just for them, not only them, of course, I would like to tell you the current situation in semiotics, and my second objective for this talk would be to talk about some marginal authors, some marginal philosophers, thinkers, and suddenly Andrei talked on Peirce, and he is not anymore that marginal. But I thank you very much to Paul, who said that I just published a book some years ago, which is called Conceptualizing Metaphors on Charles Peirce's Marginalia. This is a detailed book, and I also would like, as a third possibility, if I fit to the time, to outline my own method of conceptualization. Probably I won't have a time for this. I will try to be as general as possible so that we could communicate about the issues I already told you. The immediate reason for me starting to reflect on the current situation of semiotics was a week ago. A week ago at the New Bulgarian University, there was a guest from Sweden who was a representative of so-called cognitive semiotics. Joran Sunesson in Lund School. In Lund, it's a large collective, a large staff of people who decided to deal with cognitive semiotics. So the main point of this person, his name is Jordan Zlatev. He's Bulgarian, but he works in Sweden for many years now. The main point and the main objective of this Center for Cognitive Semiotics, as it is called, is to combine semiotics, as it is right now, with other sciences, mainly from kind of so-called natural sciences, biology, zoology, whatever, in order to do something. I forgot what they wanted to say. Then I suddenly got this idea that there is something quite strange in their desire to combine semiotics with other sciences. I asked him, Jordan, are you aware that semiotics is already plural? That semiotics is already a combination of disciplines. There are so many semiotics, I can count them because I don't know all of them. There is a dyadic semiotics, which is Saussurean semiotics. There's triadic semiotics, which is Peircean semiotics. But aside of that, there is a biosemiotics, zoosemiotics, even cognitive semiotics. You cannot combine an aggregate of disciplines with other disciplines in order to get something homogeneous, a new discipline. But you know that those European projects They, some bureaucrats have said all the time, repeatedly, first, interdisciplinary. These are the magic word, interdisciplinary. Second, combine disciplines for no reasons. I mean, I haven't seen in all these degrees, why should we combine disciplines, more disciplines? And then suddenly something struck me, okay, probably everybody needs to understand something from any discipline. The major terms have to be translatable, transformable, meaning understandable for larger audience. But don't you think that this is the way many disciplines have died recently? In my opinion, yes. Some group of scholars decide that they will suddenly, for no reason, for no obvious reason, decide to elaborate on a group of terms from some disciplines, and they started to favor more and more these terms of the discipline for the sake of ignorance of the other, and sooner or later the discipline dies. This was the dramatic way the literary theories died one after another. Many literary theory dies. So what I wanted to do, start going out from this standpoint, was why not going back to the real things, to the origins of the sciences, of the disciplines. For example, what lies in the heart of the semiotic idea? In the heart of the semiotic idea lies the wonderful, wonderful idea of the sign. And we have such a long, long tradition in elaborating and working on the sign, which is fruitful, which has been proven that it's flexible, it's dynamic, and it works. You certainly know that semiotics as a fashion discipline appeared and died between 80s and 90s of the 20th century. 25 years, like any other disciplines. But semiotic as an epistemic idea existed with the existence of thinking. Of course, more apparently more obvious with Saint Augustine's, allegedly Saint Augustine's statement, aliquid stat pro aliquo, something stand for something else, to which many centuries after Peirce has added, to whom? And then that is how he put in movement the whole system, the whole machinery. So now we have this wonderful Peirce's idea of producing meaning, grasping meaning, explaining meaning. Following this line of thinking, I started to see some of these great sign ideas, and I would like briefly to show them for you. And then I would like to show you how the analysis based on those ideas can work. Unfortunately, I realized right now Andrei misguided me. He said we do have microphones, but it turned out that we don't. Why is that, Andrei? You might misguide me. Terrible.
Yes.
Yes, he agrees. So here is Charles Peirce, whom I was thinking is marginal enough, and but again, it turned out that he is not. Okay, re-examining the foundation goes back to Aristotle. I'm not going to talk about this right now. Conceptions and categories. I always used to tell the students who start dealing with Peirce's category, whatever Peircean scholarship will be, that unfortunately Charles Peirce's thought is impossible to approach without guidance. It's simply impossible. Two reasons. There is a huge masses of unpublished manuscripts yet, Peirce's manuscripts, so we cannot be aware what he has said or he hasn't. So The second is that Charles Peirce, during his lifetime, had never had the chance to talk to the audience. Why am I showing you Stoic categories? There's no reason for that. Aristotle's categories also, no reason for that. Go away. Here, okay. So Charles Peirce had not the chance to speak for audience, meaning he developed the habit not to care about whether his thoughts will be received accordingly, will be understand properly. So finally, what we have is a huge archive of Charles Peirce when he died, with piles and piles of manuscripts, and they were forgotten for 15, 17 years. Then a book appeared, edited by Maurice Cohen, under the wonderful title Chance, Love and Logic. Wonderful title, but with no much influence. And some students of Peirce, still alive in 1931, decided that they will take some of the manuscripts and put them into volumes, which they did. So that's how appeared between 1931 and 1935 the first 6 volumes out of the 8. The 8 appeared later when they found more money in 52. So we have the 8-volume collected papers, which are a real mess. You cannot simply understand whatever from Peirce if you simply go and read Charles Peirce's collected papers. Now, of course, they are working on something quite different, chronological edition and whatever. So Charles Peirce's thought is not available, it's not accessible if you start to read them alone and without a guidance. So anyway, now, as I told you, of course, and I'm also grateful to our colleague who pointed out that there are some of the points by Peirce are to be found in Aristotle, of course, in Plato as well. Although Peirce was very strong Aristotelian scholar. He loved Aristotle, of course, and to tell you more than that, Peirce was almost obsessed by giving names in Old Greek. He not only read Old Greek, but moreover, some of his essays he wrote in Old Greek, because it seems to him to be easier to write in Old Greek, giving Old Greek terms to his terminology, rather than to translate them into English. I'm telling you this because I'm going to talk a little bit about the ethic of terminology, but this will be a little bit later. So I'm now going to skip something from Aristotle, from St. Augustine, and go to John Locke. Instead of asking the usual question, what is meaning, which was common in the last century, you know, for years and years, what is meaning, I asked myself the question, where meaning arises according to, and I try to schematize this possibility in several thinkers. Here I'm going to try to show you where meaning arises according to John Locke, and according to Saussure, and then according where meaning arises according to Peirce. The reason I'm starting with John Locke, leaving aside, of course, the obvious beginner, St. Augustine, is because John Locke was the first one who seems to use the word semiotic in almost contemporary sense of this word. In 1690, in his essay concerning human understanding, in book 3, chapter 3, he outlined the possible sciences, and he said it should be a separate science called semiotics. In fact, John Locke was the first one who saw the philosophical problems as problems of communication, as problems of language communication, moreover as problem of language communication. And he was so brilliant that he had a hunch. He precipitated some of Kant's notes about a priori forms, a priori way of thinking. You know that by Kant we already have, in order to understand the objects from outside reality, we have to have some preconditioned form naturally inborn in us. That's something which already appeared in John Locke's theories. But I'm not going to tell you about this. To understand John Locke's meaning about understanding of meaning would be a very detailed and very needs a very precise work, pretty similar to what we need by understanding Percy's work. It's been spread, but fortunately enough, he only produced an essay concerning human understanding. I mean, about philosophy. He have other works which are about political works, political issues. So in this essay concerning human understanding, he deals a lot with words and ideas, so much that he got lost, according to many philosophers. The biggest debate among the philosophers on John Locke's understanding of meaning, ideas and words is whether he is not right or how much not right he was. Some says that he's completely not right. Some others says, I do belong to this group, that he actually was not clear enough. And I do think also something more. I do think that at the time of his understanding, his outlining the theory about science, science was not that much developed, so that caused the thinking, the theory of science was not that much developed. That is what caused his confusion. So what John Locke generally says, you can see it here. Whatever is said about John Locke is that is his words. So he says, articulate sounds form words, and words are signs, and then he said, signs are ideas. Signs are signs of ideas. Now, the secret is here, idea. According to John Locke, we cannot know the objective reality, the reality outside of our minds, otherwise but via ideas. I mean, according to him, we cannot observe an elephant. This is the example which is given by the philosophers. That's why I'm going into it first, and then I will tell what I think. We cannot observe an elephant and say, this is elephant. According to him, we observe our idea of elephant. Like the real thing, the object elephant does not exist for itself. According to John Locke, if we see a trace of elephant's foot, we cannot conclude from this trace that this is a trace from an elephant foot, and make sure that this could be an elephant. We can only contemplate in our minds the idea of elephant, and that won't be any elephant which we can see. And you see this in this scheme, which I think is clear enough, although it doesn't look like, but it's made by me. It's always like that. That's why I simplify it. Here it is. We have John Locke, a concept according to John Locke. This is simplified, of course, it's not like that. He's smart enough. He's much smarter than we can think. But that's what it comes out if you follow him and believe. You have to trust me this, because I dealt with John Locke quite carefully in outlining the scheme or his thought. It seems like articulate sounds are words, and they are signs, and signs of ideas, and he stops up to here. We can directly know anything from the reality. Somehow I was thinking this is probably because of this stupid thing he says, meaning is self-evident. This is his. In this case, fire should self-evidently or automatically evoke the idea of fire. But this will be just the idea, like the fire is here, the fire exists. Now, this is John Locke. It's worth dealing with John Locke. We are now jumping into Saussure. If you have watched carefully the first scheme here, the simplified scheme of John Locke, where is it? What did I put? It should be here. So why not the up? But this is strange computer, it doesn't go up. So anyway, idea and concept. In Saussure, they simply smashed together and formed signifier and signified. So idea and concept by John Locke was done here in signifier, forming a sign. You know this. This is very famous even for non-semioticians. Saussure is quite famous, although marginal. So one side, signifier and signify. And you see that we, in order to get meaning, to have meaning, we have to have another sign which opposes to it, simply because this is a system. He only investigates the language as a system, meaning he's only interested in what is within the mind. He doesn't care about the outside reality. Not because he was not smart. He was absolutely smart and perfectionist. That was the reason he never published a book of his own, because he worked and worked on it more and more, and he never felt that the book is ready. So that's why, again, like by the same case like by Peirce, he never published a book. Well, Peirce published something which is quite differently than his own interest. It's a book called Photometric Researches. So anyway, in order to have meaning of a sign, according to Saussure, would mean that we always need opposition. I have given here an example with water to fire, but you can think of water as opposed to chair, because chair, Andrei mentioned chair, or to table, or to whatever, and then we know that there is a different signs and there are different meanings. This is Saussurean world. I also started to doubt whether this is so. It sounded to me too mechanical. So I read Saussure, whom, as you know, it's fortunately very small booklet. He produced very small booklet called Cours de Linguistique Générale, course in general linguistics, and I have found out that he also had an idea about the triadic conception of a sign, but he simply did not develop it because he was a linguist. He doesn't care about the outside reality. So finally, we reached Charles Peirce's concept of meaning, which is here. And at least this this scheme is very famous. Sign, object, interpretant. This is Charles Peirce's scheme of signs. Don't mind the many times of many names, iconic index symbol, object, interpretant, whatever, habit about which Andrei mentioned. Here, the meaning of the sign is here. It's a tendency. The meaning of a sign and the object, the whole scheme of a sign is open, and the meaning of a sign is in developing. more and more meaning. You have heard this famous expression, semiosis. Semiosis is a process of sign building or sign action, and it develops and it develops and develops. Peirce says that even the most elementary sign, say the quarry sign according to him, or a conic sign, has a nucleus of generality. Otherwise, we cannot understand each other. If we don't, I forgot to tell you that before that about Saussure. Here it comes. If this is completely true, and I don't believe that this scheme is completely true, although it's done by me, if we have language, this language would resemble kind of Esperanto or a secret language. We know a term, only the term, and we will know the meaning of it if we have another term of it. It's flat language. It's simply like a code or something. Here, in Peirce's notion, we already have something quite different. We have an open-endedness, and as Peirce says, even the simplest object from outside reality cannot be exhausted from the most complex sign. Even the most complex sign cannot exhaust, I'm repeating this in order to be clear, cannot exhaust even the simplest object, because there will always be another position, another situation, another point of view in which there will be another interpretation, or one more interpretation will be possible. So the sign is inexhaustible, the object is inexhaustible by its capacity, so is the simple sign. That is why Peirce's scheme is a dynamic scheme, a dynamic explanation, suggests a dynamic explanation of the process of outside reality. Now, I think I'm not going into details of this, and I would like to show you now a short movie which is probably 3 minutes. Unfortunately, we don't have speakers, so I have to... suddenly it starts. How to... Oh, it doesn't.
No, not here.
Not here. But I can hear something, which is
Escape.
strange, yes. Escape again. Сега да натимате този малък звук. Ама направи го цяло.
От лаптопа, да.
Добре, сега го спри. Now, I'm going to... От тук ли само ще бъде? Няма да бъде цял екран.
Може.
Може? Чакай малко. Sorry. Айде направи го цял екран и обаче да е спряло до тук. I'm talking Bulgarian.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay. Not to worry about it. So, what I'm going to show you, I need a little bit elaboration on this. I will show you a movie which you may have seen. It's a good movie. It's a movie which has been made in 1999. It's called At First Sight. I forgot the director, but like teenager girls, I remember the name of the character. It's Val Kilmer. The actor, the main character, the main actor, it's Val Kilmer. But see, I forgot the director's name. I overslept today. That's why. That's the reason, really. So anyway, I'm going to show you something which is based on a true story. And I consulted medical doctors a lot. They told me that everything shown here is true. And by the way, they don't do this anymore. It's the following. It's a story about a man who is blind, who is being born blind. And he reached the age of 34. And then suddenly, of course, a young and pretty girl appeared, and melodramatic story developed. The young and pretty girl decided that he must see again, although he never saw before, but he must see. Before that, I'm telling you the movie because I only will show you a short thing of 3 minutes, I think. He has to see again. I have to stress that the guy was pretty happy before. The only way he knew the outside reality was by touching it. Whatever he touches, he knows something. And here is a wonderful way of explaining. I'm going a little bit back, explaining Hume's ideas of simple and complicated ideas. He says we can explain to an originally blind person, let's say a statue, because it's based on a figure. We can explain to him, we can communicate it. He or she can understand us, but we can't explain a picture to him. We cannot tell the colors, the nuances. So here, the operation, the surgery, eye surgery, was performed, of course, successfully. And now we start from the moment the doctor is taking the bandages out of his eyes, and the guy starts to see. Now, please mind the moments. What happens? What happens? At the very beginning, of course, he's terrified. He loved his friend. He never saw her. What he sees at the beginning, and this is my point, what he sees at the very beginning is like seeing in John Locke's and Saussurean world. He sees flat. He sees pictures without volumes, without conception. He sees, but he is not looking, as a medical doctor says. You see, but you are not looking. So it's a perfect example to explain Saussure's and John Locke's concept and Charles Percy's concept. In order to see as we see, is to start learning again. So there is something which is extremely interesting. All scenes are interesting. But for example, I'm going to tell you all of these scenes in order not to stop the shortcut, and that you can see it and think, and we can talk after that if you wish about that. He sees an apple when he was to this medical doctor who is going to teach him actually to see again. He sees the apple. Unfortunately, he doesn't know that this is an apple, and he had to touch it in order to see that it is an apple. But what happened then? He sees it, now he has a vision, and he touches it, and he says, apple. Then this smart doctor says, okay, and what's that here? And he shows him a picture of an apple. What was the answer? Apple towards apple. In Saussurean world, apple. And we say, Saussure is perfect. Then the medical doctor says, is it an apple or is it a picture of apple? And the guy was lost. He had to touch it again in order to realize whether it is a picture of apple or it's an apple. It's very nice picture. Sorry that we don't have this. Къде да натисна сега? Това стрелкичката ли горе? Айде. And somehow it does have sound, so for our look, you have to be closer in order to hear something. Може да увеличим тук колко може? Можеш. Я опитам. Излез. Sorry, we'll try to rise a little bit the sound. It's like you, the Bulgarians, can see it's from Nova television. So it's on and on Nova television each year, I think. Може.
What do you see?
Wonderful. Wonderful, we can do that. Сега напълно се гледа. Okay.
I'm over here, Virgil. okay? You okay?
Oh, God. This isn't right. Something's wrong.
What's wrong?
There's a problem. It's going to be fine. It just takes some
No, it's not fine. Don't say it's fine.
This can't be seen. What do you see?
The first moments after seeing again. They never do this again. They only do the same thing in dark room now.
Okay, Virgil, they've gone. Now let's everybody just calm down. Okay. All right. It's all right. It's okay. Let's just everybody calm down. Something's wrong. This can't be seen.
Come on, relax. It's okay.
Okay. What can we do? Give me something in my hands.
Put something in my hands. Put down.
Okay.
Coca-Cola must be given a lot of money for this.
Now, just use your sense of touch. Just associate now.
Just associate, meaning just interpret in Percy's sense.
Use your touch. Virgil. It's a can.
And he smiles. It's a can.
Associate. His fingers tell his brain, and then his brain tells his eyes, and then he recognizes what's in front of him. Okay, Virgil. Let's give your ass a rest. Okay. We should all be very happy. You've got something. Stay on there, right? Extended line. This side.
Excuse me, can I speak to you for a minute?
Sure.
What the hell just happened there? I mean, is that what you call seeing?
Look, it's a little complicated. See, it is clear that he is seeing. He's picking up images. Apparently his retina is intact. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a success.
A success? He's all lost in there. He can't see me. He can't see his sister. He can't see anything except a Coke can. And he can only do that after he held it in his hands. He could do that before.
Believe me, he can see you. He just doesn't understand what he sees.
So is this temporary? Will this go away?
Well, there is a visual therapist. It's a fellow named Phil Webster.
Now he's by the visual therapist.
You have a problem with depth of field, space, shape, size, and distance. It's fascinating. There's only been 20 cases of this in the last 200 years. Basically, your eyes work, but your brain hasn't learned to process the information. You are mentally blind. Neurologists call this visual agnosia.
Well, I call it pretty screwed up.
That's a much better term. I'll bring it up at the next meeting. Although, it would be difficult to get grant money for the Pretty Screwed Up Foundation. I have something I'd like to read to you. Oh, Brooklyn? I made it myself. Damn it. My glasses, I can never find them. Mrs. Finster! Help! Thank you. Happens all the time. Okay. Alberto Valvo. Sight restoration after long-term blindness. One must die as a blind person to be born again as a sighted person. However, it is the interim, the limbo between two worlds, that is so terrible. There you go, pal. You're in limbo.
Right, that's it? Limbo? I mean, that book doesn't have anything else that might help us with Virgil's condition.
Limbo's not that bad. It's like New Jersey. You can see where all the good stuff is happening. You just have to get there. I know. You were expecting Anne Bancroft. A dramatic breakthrough out by the water pump. I'm sorry, I'm just a professor. I teach people how to teach the blind, how to become independent. Unfortunately, there's no manual on what you're going through. I'd like to help, but like the rest of things in life, it's really up to you.
Are you crazy? I'm completely confused. You said you'd like to help, so we came here for help.
All right. You want a lesson?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Lesson number 1. Repeat after me. The rain in Spain stays I'm kidding. It's a joke. What's this?
It's an apple.
Good, good. You've now won the toaster oven. Okay. What's this?
It's an apple.
Good, but is it an apple or just a picture of an apple?
Okay. So, it's a joke, right? What are you saying, that my eyes lie?
Well, your eyesight can and will play tricks on you. No matter what I could teach you, no matter what exercises I could give you, they'll still play tricks on you. You've got to learn to trust your instincts.
I don't have any instincts. My instinct is to close my eyes and feel my way out of your office.
Well, there you go. That's a self-preservation instinct. But you have others. Look, Virgil, you have to learn to see, just like you learn to speak. Perception, sight, life is about experience, about reaching out and exploring the world for yourself. It's not enough to just see. We've got to look as well.
Immediately following the
That's it. Well, thank you for your real attention. Okay.